All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And we'll find our seated mountain, so sitting slightly forward in the chair, really thinking about grounding down through all four corners of the feet. So kind of active energy pressing downward through the feet and legs. And the spine is elongated, but not stiff. And then just relax the shoulders down the spine with a neutral gaze. Then we'll take just a quick minute to arrive before we begin. So letting the eyes soften or close. And beginning to bring the focus inwards, noticing what it feels like to be living in your body today. Noticing any physical sensations or any emotions that might be coming up. And just honoring them and accepting them. Maybe bringing one hand to the belly and the other hand to the heart. Just taking a few deeper breaths. Feeling the belly fill, rising up into the chest. And then exhaling fully, drawing the navel toward the spine. And just breathing a few times like that deeply. And you might find yourself distracted by thoughts. And that's totally normal and always part of our practice. So just whenever that happens, noticing that it is happening and bringing the focus back to the breath. And when you're ready, returning back to your natural breathing. And maybe bringing the bottom hand to rest on top of the hand that's over your heart. And just enjoy this soothing position. Giving yourself a little kindness and compassion. And maybe at this time choosing an intention to focus your practice today. Or that's not necessary. You can also just remain open to whatever comes to you. And then when you're ready, releasing the hands, maybe resting them on the thighs and letting the eyes come back open. Taking in the sounds and colors around you in your space. We'll start with a little bit of a different breathing exercise. I've been feeling some blockages in my throat area lately. And so I thought I was researching different breathing practices that might help with that. So I thought I would share this with you. So we'll clasp the fingers, clasp the hands together, and rest the hands underneath the chin. So your chin is kind of on top of the hands. And then as we inhale, the arms will begin to come out to the sides and the head will begin to lift up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, we bring the elbows back down and back towards each other. So we're kind of sending the arms out and up as we shift the gaze up, and then exhaling, bringing it all back down. So just moving through that a few times on your own breath, feeling the neck and the throat begin to open. And so we're not forcing anything, just letting it sense of. And we'll do that just once more. And then returning back to center. Now keeping the fingers interlaced, we'll send the arms out in front of you. Just getting a nice little stretch of the shoulders. And then if it feels good, maybe inhaling, stretching the arms up above the head. And then staying here for a few breaths, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears and just breathing here. And then releasing the fingers and just letting the arms float back down by your side. So continuing in the arms and hands, we'll extend the arms out in front. We'll just flex and extend the wrists rather. And then maybe opening and closing fists, stretching out the finger joints wide. And releasing from that, we'll keep the arms extended, but with the palms facing each other. And then we'll just flip the palms backwards and forwards. So if you have the range of motion, you may go past 180, but just flipping back and forth, starting to engage through the arms and shoulders. And now the next time your palms come back up, we'll leave them here. We'll inhale to bring the fingers to the tips of the shoulders. And exhale, sending the arms back out. So coming back and forth, fingertips to shoulders, and then extending the arms. And then the next time your fingertips come onto the shoulders, we'll hold there. And we'll inhale, letting the elbows come out wide. And exhale, bringing it back in. And flowing with your breath. And if you want to engage the head and neck here too, you can send the gaze up when the elbows come wide and down when you come back together. So that's just an option. And next time your shoulders open, we'll stay here and we'll just roll them out, alternating the shoulders, rolling them backwards. And then back in the other direction, rolling the shoulders forward. And then when you're ready, gently releasing, letting the arms float down, and then maybe just taking a moment to feel any sensations that might arise. We're holding up our arms for a while, so you might feel some tingling coming down into your fingers. So moving into the face and the jaw area, as you inhale, contract your facial muscles, making sort of like a prune face, squinting the eyes. And then as you exhale, sighing it all out. We'll do that a few more times. Inhale to contract. And sigh it out on the exhale. And once more. And maybe taking any movements of your jaw that feel good, any opening and closing the mouth or moving it in a circle. Just loosening up that area where we often carry a lot of tension. And now when you're ready, we'll drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. And finding your arm options here, staying where you are, maybe cradling the head, maybe putting one palm up, resting on your thigh, or bringing that arm out to the side. Just breathing into that stretch, that openness on the left side of your body. And then maybe if it feels good, shifting the chin towards the armpit, just feeling a little bit of a different stretch in the neck. And then releasing. And we'll switch sides. So left ear towards left shoulder. And then finding your options here. Noticing maybe if one side feels different than the other. This side's always a little tighter for me. Just breathing into that tightness if it's there. And then shifting the chin, shifting the gaze downwards. Taking a few breaths here. And releasing when you're ready. Let's do one of our arm flows to kind of build some energy, get the blood pumping, fire up the lymphatic system. So this is one of my favorites. We do it often. So inhaling, palms lifted, lifting the arms forward. Exhale, flipping the palms, arms come back down. And then we'll inhale out to the side, lifting the arms. And then flipping the palms, floating the arms back down to the side. And so we'll keep on flowing like that, moving with your own breath. And there's always the option to extend the range of motion if that feels good to you. If it's okay with the head and neck, just letting those arms come up a little bit higher. And really feeling them floating through space. We'll do that once more to the front and then once more to the side. And then letting the arms float back down. I'm trying to freshen things up by changing up the order of these classes. So we'll come into an eagle now. So we'll cross the right leg over the left. And if that's not comfortable, you don't have to do the legs. You can just do the arms. And then we'll extend the arms out wide and then cross the right arm under the left, coming into a bear hug. Or if eagle arms are in your practice, you can start working the palms towards each other. This is a great opener for the shoulders, the upper back. I encourage you also to not forget the lower body. So we're still active and engaged in the legs. Pressing down into the earth with that left leg. Strong through the core. One more deep breath here. And then we'll release the arms. We'll keep the legs crossed. And we'll come into a twist. So bringing the left hand to the right knee. We'll just twist over to the right side. And the right hand can be either on your hip or on the chair, or wherever it feels good. Again, using your core muscles to support you in the twist. And we'll release, untwisting, coming back to center. Uncrossing the right leg. And we'll switch sides. So crossing the left leg over the right. Arms come out to a T. And then the left arm crosses under the right. I always get that confused. Whichever leg is on top, that arm is on the bottom. And then finding the arm options here. This side never feels as good to me in the eagle arm, so I'm going to stay in the bear hug. And just breathing, maybe even thinking about directing the breath right into that space between the shoulders and the upper back. And this pose can help build concentration, focus, stability. When you're ready, unwinding the arms, and the legs will stay crossed, and we'll come into our twist to the left. So bringing right hand to the left knee, and just gently twisting to the left side now. Breathing fully here. And when you're ready, coming back to center, uncrossing that leg. And we'll move into our cat and cow, so maybe sliding a little forward if you're not already there. So with the hands resting on the leg, we'll inhale. And then as we exhale, the hands slide forward towards the knees and the spine rounds towards the back of the chair. And then on the inhale, the back arches and the hands slide back towards the body, opening in the chest and just flowing back and forth, moving on your own breath. This feels so good after those twists. We'll do that once more. The cat and cow. And then returning back to a neutral position. And we'll walk the feet just a little bit wider. We'll get ready to come down into a forward fold. So taking an inhale here, and then as you exhale, hinging forward from the hips and coming down onto the forearms. And maybe letting the tips of the fingers come together. Feeling the energy, life force flow from one side of the body to the other. And the spine should still be relatively flat in this position. So you may notice you feel a bit of a stretch, openness in the low back. And we can use the breath to help facilitate that openness. So directing your mind and your breath to the low back. And if it feels okay to you to round the spine and fold all the way forward, you can do that now. Not only if your spine is okay with it. But if you do fold forward, just letting the head hang. And breathing fully wherever you are. Walking back up to an upright seated position. We'll now heel toe the feet all the way in so that they're close to touching or maybe even touching the insides of the feet. And then we'll just let the legs butterfly open and close. Starting to open up the hips, lubricate the hip joints. And then letting go of that movement and walking the feet back out about hip distance apart. And then we'll bicycle out the right leg. So you can either maybe have the hands on the hips or maybe holding onto the chair for a little more support, and just making a bicycle-like motion with the right leg. So it doesn't have to lift up very high, just bending and straightening that leg, continuing to loosen up the joints. And then maybe switching to pedal backwards if that's comfortable. And then keeping the leg extended, just pointing and flexing the feet and taking any movement of the ankles and toes that feel good. So maybe circling the foot in one direction and then the other. And then maybe curling and straightening the toes. And then releasing the right foot back to the floor. Maybe giving it a little shake. And then we'll switch legs. So bicycling with the left leg. This is also a good core exercise. You may notice your abs are engaged, helping facilitate this motion in the leg. And then pedaling back in the other direction. And then with the leg extended, just pointing and flexing that left foot. And then maybe circling the ankle. And then circling back in the other direction. And maybe curling and straightening the toes a few times. And then when you're ready, letting the leg come back to the floor, releasing the hands back to the thighs. So we'll do now a little sun salutation-like sequence. So we've done similar things to this before. So we'll go through it a little slower and then we'll repeat it a couple of times. So on your next exhale, on your next out breath, bringing the palms together in a prayer position in front of your chest. And then as we inhale, we'll sweep the arms out to the sides, and they can come up as high as they want. Maybe the palms meet overhead. And then on the exhale, we'll hinge from the hips, folding forward, either halfway or all the way down. And then on the next inhale, the arms lift straight up by the ears, and the right foot comes up off the floor. The knee is bent. Foot comes down, arms come halfway down. And then the left leg lifts. And then on the exhale, we'll fold forward again. We'll inhale, reverse swan diving. So sweeping the arms back out to the sides, meeting up above the head, and then finishing on the exhale, coming back to prayer hands. So that's the sequence. So we'll move through that a couple of more times and move with your own breath. So if we're not moving at the same speed, that's no big deal. We don't want to ever be holding our breath. So we'll move with our own rhythm. So on your next inhale, sweeping the arms out and up above the head. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, arms sweep up, right leg lifts. Right leg down, arms halfway down. Left leg lifts, arms come up. Next exhale, foot comes down and we fold all the way back down. Inhale, rising back up to seated. Arms sweep up, palms meet. And then exhale, back to heart center. Let's do that once more. Flowing right into it, inhaling. Arms sweep up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, arms come up. Right leg comes up. Foot down, arms halfway down. Inhaling the left leg up. Exhale, foot comes down and we fold down. Inhaling, arms come up, palms meet. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Let's do it one more time now that we've got it. We'll inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, rising up, arms up, right leg lifts. Exhale, foot down, arms halfway down. Inhale, lifting the left leg. Exhale, foot down, folding down. Inhale, sweeping the arms back up. Then exhaling, finishing up, hands to heart. Just taking a moment here, feeling the effects of that little sequence. Maybe your heart rate has increased a little bit. Just noticing what's different. And when you're ready, just releasing the hands back to the thighs. So we'll come now into our Warrior Two. So as always, any parts of this are optional. So we'll turn the right foot out, the right toes pointing towards the right, and then send the left leg out behind. And then the left toes are just slightly turned in. And then the arms lift. Right arm extended out front and left arm behind. And the gaze is out over that front arm. I'm taking just a couple of breaths here. This is another pose that helps build stability and focus. Noticing the openness in the inner thighs and the stretch there. And so bringing the left hand to your hip, we'll flip the right palm up towards the sky, and we'll flow back and forth between a reverse warrior. So inhaling, we'll bend backwards, beginning to bring the arm with it. And then exhale, bringing that right arm back, extended out in front. And this will flow with the breath. And if it's not comfortable to extend the arm, you can always do more of a wing, like bending at the elbow. The important thing is the dynamic movement. We'll do this once more, and then the next time we come into reverse warrior, if it's comfortable to just hold there for a couple of breaths, feeling the openness across the chest. And one more inhale here. And on your next exhale, releasing the arm down. And then releasing the legs. And coming back to center. And we'll take a few hip circles to reset before we change sides. So from here, just rocking the weight back and forth. Letting the spine and torso just flow with the movement of the hips. And back in the other direction if you haven't already. And then we'll switch sides, so warrior two on the left. So bringing that left knee turned out. And then if it's comfortable, sending the right leg out behind with the right toes slightly turned in. And then finding that arm position. So extending the left arm out in front of you and the right arm out behind. And just gazing out over the tips of your fingers. And maybe noticing here if this side feels different than the last. That's usually the case. And then we'll bring the right arm to the hip. And we'll begin that reverse warrior, sun warrior flow. So flipping the front palm up. We'll inhale, bending. And then exhale, coming back. And just flowing with your own breath. Feeling that nice side stretch. And then if it's comfortable for you, maybe next time holding in that reverse warrior position for a few breaths. Again, noticing the openness across the chest, the openness in the legs. And one more inhale. And then releasing on the exhale, letting that left arm float down. And coming back to center. And maybe taking a couple windshield wipers with the legs if that feels good. And we're going to continue with the opening of the hips and inner thigh. So we'll move into Goddess next. So sitting up in our seated mountain, we'll walk the feet out wide, really as wide as you want. And then the toes are going to be slightly turned out to the corners. So this is our Goddess. And from here, we've done this before. So we'll come up to our goalpost arms. And as we inhale, we'll extend the arms up into a V. And then exhale, bringing them back down, bending at the elbows. And so flowing with your own breath. And we also have the opportunity to bend the legs with it. So if you'd like, when you extend the arms, you can also extend the legs. And then on the exhale, bringing it all back in. So depending on your floor, this may be easier or harder. So just do whatever option feels good. So this is kind of like a 5-pointed star pose that we might do in a standing practice. And then we'll do that just once more. And then coming back into our Goddess. And letting the hands come to the legs, we'll do a little shoulder stretch. So bringing the right shoulder towards the left knee. So it doesn't have to be very far, but just in the general direction. Leaning forward and stretching towards that left knee. And just taking a few breaths here. And then coming back up to center and switching sides. So stretching the left shoulder towards the right knee this time. And then coming back up to center. And now grabbing opposite elbows or forearms, wherever is comfortable. We'll just gently roll the arms around in a circle. Continuing to foster that sense of openness. The chest, arms, and shoulders. And then at some point, switching back in the other direction. And when you're ready, releasing arms and walking the feet back in. Maybe a couple of windshield wipers if that feels good. And so from here, we'll do our seated pigeon. So we'll start with the right leg. So either on the floor or lifting the foot up on top of the knee. So if your foot is on the floor, we're just gonna rotate out onto the outer edge of the right foot, opening up in the hip, or maybe helping the foot up, crossing right ankle over the left knee. And then from wherever you are, either grabbing onto the sides of the chair or your hips, we'll take an inhale and then just gently start to fold forward. Not very far, just until you start to feel a little bit of a stretch in the hip. And stopping wherever that point is and breathing. And then when you're ready, folding back up, releasing the right foot, and switching sides. So coming onto the left foot. So finding that hip opener, whichever works for you. And then sitting up tall, grabbing the hips or the sides of the chair. We'll inhale to lengthen and then exhale, hinging forward, stopping at that first sign of a stretch and just holding there. And then when you're ready, rising back up, releasing a leg. And we'll do just a couple more twists to finish up our physical part of our practice. So bringing the left hand to the right knee, and then the right hand either on the hip or the back of the chair. Just gently twisting to the right. And if it feels good to get some neck and head action in, you can begin to shift the gaze from one shoulder to the other. And then when you're ready, releasing from that twist. And then we'll begin to make our way into a twist on the other side. So bringing the right hand to the left knee. And twisting to the left. And using your abs to help support your spine in the middle of your body. And then gently untwisting, coming back to the center, maybe taking any last little movements or stretches that feel good for you. And then slowly, or whenever you're ready, finding a place of stillness, maybe sitting back in the chair, putting a cushion behind you, a place where you'll be comfortable for the next few moments. And then once you're there, allowing the eyes to soften or maybe close. Bringing ourselves full circle back where we started. Bringing the focus inwards once again. And taking a moment to observe what's present. Does your body feel any different now than when you started? Taking notice of any areas of sensation, or aches or pains. Just acknowledging them and sending them a little compassion. I'll guide you through a short body scan practice. Once again, if you find your mind wandering, no big deal. Just gently observe what's going on and guide your attention back to the present moment. And what links us to the present moment is the breath. So we can always bring our attention back to the breath and reset our focus back in the present. Let's begin by bringing your attention to the crown of your head, the top of your head. Noticing any feelings or sensations that are present there. And then letting them go. Guiding your attention now down into your head, your face. Releasing any areas of tension, maybe softening the brow, relaxing the jaw. Just observing what's present in this part of your body. Moving down into the neck and shoulders. Seeing if you can create space on the in-breath and relaxation in the out-breath. And moving the attention down through the arms, through the forearms, through the wrists. And bringing your attention to all 5 fingers. becoming aware of them, and then letting go. And bringing the focus back up through the arms. And now traveling down the spine. Noticing what your spine feels like right now in this moment. Are there any aches or pains, areas of discomfort? Allowing yourself to be with those feelings. Noticing the points where your back comes into contact with the chair. And then gently shifting focus into the hips. Again, feeling touch points between your body and the chair beneath you. Then moving down the leg, feeling energy and gravity, drawing your legs, your feet into the earth beneath you, feeling completely grounded and supported. And then noticing your 5 toes, any sensations that are present there. And now imagining as though you were breathing in through the tips of your toes. Letting your next inhale fill your entire body from your toes all the way back up to the crown of the head. And then exhaling down through the body and back out through the toes. And take a few more breaths like this, full body breathing. Be tuning in to what it feels like for the breath to be moving throughout your body. And then once again, returning back to your natural breath. Feeling the rise and fall of each inhale and exhale. And then maybe bringing your hands to rest, one on top of the other over your heart, or in a prayer position if that feels better. Once again, enjoying the soothing feeling of your hands resting on your body, bringing you calm, comfort, kindness, and compassion. And then maybe sending those same feelings out to everyone who is practicing with us today. And then bowing forward in gratitude. Namaste.